Welcome back to We Are live from Midcoast Studio in Grand Center. I don't respond well to things changing on the fly. What is happening? Are you out in the street, Travis?
I am out in the streets of Brooklyn, boys and girls. Well, actually, I'm in the courtyard of my undisclosed location.
Oh.
But I am, outside enjoying this beautiful weather. Again, this is how I get focused, ready for my big meeting. As Gardner pointed out a little bit early on about being in the pocket of the House of Mouse, um, I think he should apologize. I think Gardner should take that back. I think I think he insulted my creativity, my artistry, um, and I'm not one to be attached to one group or a corporation. So no, I do not have an agenda, Gardner. I'm sorry.
Um, was I wrong?
That's beside the point.
Well, here's what I'll do. I'll apologize for making you feel bad. I'm sorry
Aw.
I made you feel bad because that's kind of a compromise apology. I'm not saying I'm wrong, but I'm sorry for the way I made you feel. If that makes sense.
Aw.
Okay,
That's
so
so
because I
nice.
do care about your emotions,
Hmm.
um, but I still think I'm right. So I can't apologize for that, but I can't apologize for how I made someone feel. So I will. I am sorry for that. I do apologize.
I accept your apology.
Thank you.
Also, thank you guys for firing Tommy. I'm glad he's gone.
Tommy is not fired. You don't fire an intern.
Uh,
He will
oh,
be shifting to more production stuff. He's going to be helping behind the
oh,
scenes
Tommy's
more.
not shifting the shit. Stop. He's not shifting to
Nah, he
anything.
really is.
He's gonna
He
just pick
helps
up more
Gardner quite a bit.
coffee. He's gonna send out some more letters in the mail to potential prospects, but
No.
Tommy's not doing shit.
He is. He's very helpful with production with Gardner, so he's gonna
He
he's
has
gonna
been
work
He's
on
up with
that.
productive.
Gardner. Does he like get Gardner his barrettes and ponytail hair clippings
Yeah,
and
he runs his
carries
fake.
around his?
Actually,
It's the only way Gardner can relax in the mornings if Tommy gives him a temple touch.
I lost my hair tie
Mm.
over the weekend, so I actually had to stop by Walgreens on the scooter on the way down to work this morning and buy some more hair ties and get a coffee.
Mm.
So I did actually have to make a stop
What's
to.
what's the update on the personal scooter purchase? We gonna
Oh,
make that happen?
I am. Here's my concern right now. My concern is security of the
Not the
scooter.
fact that you'd just be a scooter owner.
No,
It'd be
not at all.
security.
Yeah, I don't
Okay,
care.
got it. Okay.
I would quite enjoy that actually, and I think in the long run it would save me money too in terms of what I'm spending on scooter rentals. Because like I took one yesterday, and I spent a good deal of money because I went over to Forest Park because I saw that they're breaking ground today on 17 acres of a nature playscape for kids,
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
and I wanted to go see where that exactly was, so I had a better idea. Kind of selfishly, I wanted to know, like, hey, what roads are going to be closed? Where's this going to be? How's this going to impact some traffic stuff too? So I kind of wanted to see, and they're doing it in an area that makes sense to do it. A few, a few pavilions are going to be gone, and there was actually while I was over there, Travis, there was a family reunion going on
Of course.
in the
Of course.
park. Couple hundred people actually in the area that they're going to kind of redo. But it's it looked like it's going to be a pretty good deal. But the
17
scooter
acres
rides,
is a massive amount
yeah,
of place for kids. I saw that this morning in the Post Dispatch, and it's basically where the parents and kids will get dirty and they'll have an opportunity to make their own. It's not going to be your traditional playground. So it's
right.
going to be more, yeah, nature involved. And I mean, you've said it before, Gardner, and I think it's no surprise at this point, but Forest Park truly is the gem of that city.
Yeah,
And I'm happy that they are double and tripling down on their investments to expand Forest Park and make it as amazing as it already is.
yeah.
Whatever happened to that live action zoo thing they were gonna make where you could go watch the animals eat the other animals? Are they doing that in North County still?
That's
That was a rumor. That wasn't a. They would. He was just trying. Chris just trying to stir up some nonsense. It wasn't nobody trying to
Hey,
have
you
no
want
damn live
you
zoo in
want the
North County,
cheetahs?
St. Louis.
You want the cheetahs to truly be happy? Let them chase a goat.
well,
There you go.
That plan. I don't know if it's that particular plan.
Well, then you charge extra. You charge extra. Maybe you've got to. Maybe
Chris
you've
is
got to.
trying to make a Jurassic Park in North County
Maybe you-
here.
Yeah.
Maybe you've got a troublesome cow that's messing up the herd. And you know what? I've had enough of this cow, and you might get a little bit of pleasure.
This might
seeing
play in Farmington, okay?
seeing an African lion
I don't know if it
dismantle
plays
it.
there. I think people drill. People want to draw. Yeah, I don't.
You want to
I
make a
think-
real
I think it was that
attraction?
video-
Hire me. I'll make it. I'll make it
Well,
cool by sundown.
Well, remember the video in China where they did that at a zoo, and everyone across the
donkey.
globe absolutely went bonkers. Like, even if it's like in a place like China where they have way more lax laws than we do here in the United States, even when they go, whoa, buddy, we kind of maybe gone too
Listen.
far. You know that's never
Listen.
going to fly here.
Yeah.
Listen, here's the thing. If the deer that you let into the enclosure is a little too fast, maybe you kick it in the ribs before it goes out there. You
Oh,
ever see that
okay.
movie Gladiator? Remember how he got him ready to fight him,
Yes.
and then they just bandage him up. You could do that with
Yeah,
with the prey.
Yeah, let's go back 2,000 years. Yeah. That's what that's what we're looking to do.
And then the ultimate, you
This,
offer
he's not
a
going to
lottery.
segue into a Dr. Ed segment here, is he?
That's right. And then if your
Because
pet
that would be a
accidentally
terrible.
If your pet
Terrible
accidentally
segue.
makes it in there, you can take him in for injury repair to Hillside Animal Hospital right here, St. Louis,
Oh,
Missouri.
no.
Bringing you Dr. Ed's Dogs on Film once a week,
No,
every week.
And you mentioned calling it Jim. I like calling it the crown jewel of St. Louis.
But there's the Crown Jewel of Midtown 2 blocks from us.
That's Midtown, though.
It's also
We
true.
can't have more than one Crown Jewel in
You
the
can't.
city.
Yes,
No.
you can. Well, no, it's the
You
jewel.
want to keep segmenting?
But it's not the crown jewel of Midtown. It's the jewel of Midtown. So I'm creating that space there to say this is the crown jewel of the entire city, of the region. Our friend Chris Davis used the phrase the crown jewel in a tweet yesterday as he was covering this story.
Now, what about Travis's cousin, Crown Jewel? Like, how would they feel that you're taking their name and appropriating it?
And how many people think jewel is actually like Juul now these
Right.
days?
And also,
It's
who
tough.
will save your soul? You know?
Well, now I'm thinking of Jewel songs.
There it is.
No, but it looks it's in an area that they can definitely develop.
Yeah.
When I went over there and looked around it, and-
Again, this
there's
stuff.
it's
This
not.
stuff is funny to somebody who grew up with that big half of their backyard.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're paying what for who? You're
Look.
not even going to put a slide on it?
Yeah.
Go kick the sticks out there, kids. We just spent $10 million revamping this field. Welcome to St. Louis.
Yeah. The Forest Park Forever has a lot of money. That's obvious because they're able.
Well,
to,
that was the next thing I was going to say. Yeah, I will say that even with their fundraisers, even with some of the tax amendments over the last couple of seasons, it's at least good to see that, you know, they said they were going to do X with the tax dollars that they raised it, and now you can actually see them doing it. Like, if
Well,
it's one
yeah.
thing that St. Louis is consistent with when it comes to spending money correctly, it's with that park.
Well, and I'll say this: like everything you're seeing down there, though, is most of it, and maybe all of it, is through fundraising efforts, though. Like this isn't
Right.
even necessarily tax money being spent. This is Forest Park Forever. Now they have what they have taken a hold of, and especially if you go to Central Fields now, you'll notice it says Emerson Central Fields. So they've taken
Right.
sponsorships within the park now, and it was bound to happen. But you know, companies are sponsoring areas to get their name on stuff, and that makes sense. And well, it helps the park. So I mean,
For sure.
What am I going to?
As long as you're still able to keep things like the zoo and the concerts, and like, I'm fine with the sponsorships as long as, you know, it drives costs down, and
yeah,
if
things
it,
are
if it
free.
means keeping the zoo beautiful and amazing looking and free, and
Yeah.
the outdoor concerts free, then I'm game. I'm game for that. I'm as long as you're not passing on those costs to people who've already paid the taxes.
Well, and that's the one area of St. Louis that I think and even tax money wise that I would be really willing to spend money on because look, it's more to me, it's more significant than any sports franchise we have in town. It's more important than the Cardinals. It's more important than the Blues. It's more important than any of that. I mean, Forest Park is that important to this city. It's my personal belief. But if you're asking me, hey, you have to get rid of Forest Park or the Cardinals have to leave, buy Cardinals. I mean, that's how it is for me. And that's what I believe about that park and the importance of it, especially in an urban setting. Like to have something like that.
One thing one thing I would like to see them do that I've seen done here in New York is getting a city ID. So if you're a city resident, like obviously you incur X amount on taxes to pay for things like the zoo, like the Muni, like Forest Park, etc. I would love to be able to see those people be able to go to those places and not have to incur any additional costs. So even if you go to a place like the zoo, which is already free, if you're a city resident and you have a city ID, then you can get extensive discounts on food, beverages. You know, you get certain perks. So, you
Right.
know, like there are always going to be people who come in from the county that are going to take advantage of the free parts of Forest Park and the zoo, et cetera. Then, you know, to incentivize people who actually live in the city, give them a city ID where they can take advantage of maybe discounts on transportation, discount at Cardinal games, discount at, you know, since they already incur a lot of the costs. And then maybe that can answer some of the big questions people have about, you know, merging the county
Yeah.
and the city.
Well, and that's why I don't know the particular financials of it, but I know that so much is done through fundraising. I don't know how much city residents incur themselves.
Incur.
And yeah,
Makes sense.
I don't know, but you know, like what they do a lot is through memberships at the History Museum or something. Like maybe there's discounts to be had on memberships if you're a city resident or something like that. Like because you're going to get discounted. Maybe you get a membership discount if you're a city resident for exhibits. Like you would get the membership
Right.
price
Right.
or something like that.
Like you get to like
Right.
paint onto the Mona Lisa when it comes through.
Oh, I
That's
don't
not
know.
exactly
No?
what we
Oh,
had
God.
in
Is
mind.
that a bad?
I don't know.
Interesting. You get to ride an elephant if you're a city resident.
yeah, well,
Huh?
well,
Yeah.
ooh.
You
But
look in
there
there,
are ways.
hey!
But there are fun. But aren't you? Wouldn't you say there are ways to incentivize? Like I know they've done everything to try to get people like us to start to buy homes, whether it's in Midtown, whether it's where you are, Gardner, in the Central West End, or somewhere downtown. Like, wouldn't that be a great way to incentivize people like us, like by allowing us to have certain discounts or perks for living in the city? Like, wouldn't that keep
Yeah,
more
I
people
don't.
in the city if they were treated differently, I guess, by the city?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see how it would hurt. Is what I would say.
Right.
I mean,
That's a good point.
I don't know how that what that looks like though. I would have to sit down.
Like it
and
almost would be
talk
cool,
to
like
Alan.
if you're a city resident, like you could get a golf cart of some sort that would be able to allow you to transport yourself and your family around parts of St. Louis very conveniently. And it'd be almost very cool if we could, oh, it's crazy that you bring them up. Getaway golf carts. Getaway carts, of course, proud sponsor of We Are Live. They certainly know how to take care of you and your mobile needs. If you need
Oh.
a brand new golf cart so you can go take the kids to soccer practice, pick up your local groceries without leaving too big of a carbon footprint,
Oh,
then you need to
ooh.
get together with our folks at Getaway Carts. They are absolutely amazing. Look, I got a Getaway cart for New York. They absolutely transported here to Brooklyn, and I've been able to get away from the cops at any turn whenever I like when I'm going about my illegal activities. So if you're looking to do those things, Getaway Carts. Check them out today. Hashtag Carte Blanche. Big sponsors of the movement.
I think
Wow.
you took the getaway part wrong there.
Yeah, maybe
Oh,
Maybe don't
that's not what's the
focus so
getaway.
much on the
The
getaway.
getaway part. Okay.
We do have
I
a
completely
question from the
misread that.
comments. Recent guest of We Are Live, and she just did an episode of Mental Health Matters. The very funny Meredith Hopping says, "Preach, Gardner. Have you ever thought of running for public office?" In
No.
the comments.
Too many.
No, 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 no,
well,
no, 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 no.
I don't-
I don't know. I think it's fairly
No.
pedestrian.
I don't have skeletons in the closet per se because I try to put them all out of the closet so that if anyone tries
He's the
to
guy
come
with
at
Halloween
me,
decorations out all year long.
like I try to let every bad thing I do out in public so that if I ever did run for public office, that nothing's going to surprise me. Like I don't want to be caught out like, oh, I've been trying to hide this thing for a while. So I try to keep it all out. If you want to find stuff about me, it's public record. You can do
Also,
so.
you can
and
do-
I will talk about it with you
I think
too.
a big
But
part of being in public office is, do the powers that be, the puppeteers, did they feel you can be gotten to? No, you can be. Big Sugar and Big Menthol, they could back you.
Lyden
And
I
you'd
would
be
have,
real quiet.
Would
You'd
have
be
a
real quiet.
hell of a stand. I
Okay.
don't think public office is necessarily for me. I could be involved.
Consigliere. Huh?
Like maybe chief of staff. Like I'm more of the be in the
whisperer.
mud, be in the muck, sit in the background, observe, and then make a move.
You're a fixer guy. Yeah. He's like the dude on Billions. I can't remember the name, but every mogul's got one of you.
I don't know if I'm the face of anything.
Right.
I am
you
there.
lurk in the shadows.
I'm there to help out, though.
You
I'm
lurk
not.
in the shadows except for one cherried
yeah.
ember.
I'm not. I'm not a great leader. I'm a decent lobbyist with carte blanche and other things. But I don't think that
Excellent way to back
bull,
yourself.
bullpen cart lobbyist. But I'm not.
A fake movement with a T-shirt and a logo.
Hey,
Okay, got it. Got
that
it.
works for a lot of people.
That's very true.
Yeah, it's not my fault. I'm just adapting to what society presents me.
That's a great point.
That's all I can
Which
do.
Got a
makes you
point.
more viable to be a
Yeah.
fixer for
I'm
one of these
just-
public office
I'm
situations.
just trying to get along with it all. That's all I'm really trying to do every single day. It's very difficult, but I'm trying. But I will be there if someone has the beliefs I have. I will be there to support, and if they needed my help, I would be there to help them for public office. Most certainly.
Do you have a preference on the candidate? Like, who do you want? Do you want to be in the ear? So here's the thing: do you want somebody that's charismatic and out there and on the up and up, or do you want somebody you're going to be able to stay busy? Because let's be honest, if you're the dirt guy for Greitens a couple years back, you're a busy man. You're out there. Maybe he's a poor example because of how we feel about him.
Well, I mean,
But do you
that's
want a
No,
controversial figure,
No.
or do you want somebody clean?
no. I
And
mean,
you
it
just- and you
doesn't
protect them.
matter. I would just need to believe what they believe, and the problem with a guy like Greitens is he was a phony to begin with.
True.
So you're automatically put in a corner because they're complete, phonies. There's nothing genuine about them. It's
Right.
about one thing in particular.
Is there enough money in the world to work for someone like that? So I've been thinking about like
Yes.
why people and I think at the end of the day we know there are people who would truly do it, but I'm wondering like when do you get to that point? Like I know everyone has a price. Like we would love to be paid
lower than
X
people
for what
think,
we
too.
currently do. But at the same time, I'm curious as to what brings you to that point. Is it always that's your going rate? Something had to bring you to being okay with working with someone like Wright. Something had to bring you to the point where you're okay with working with somebody like Trump. Like there has to have been something along your career path or in your life that pushed you to this brink of accepting X dollars to perform very immoral tasks.
I don't know. It seems like it would just be people that truly worship at the altar of capitalism, and their motivation simply is, where's the next dollar?
Money.
And there's money to be made
That's interesting.
in being a phony, and there's money to be made in selling whatever you're selling, even if you don't believe in it,
Might
as
be
long
hard
as it
to-
can be a
way to feed yourself.
as long as it can be popular. Well, you can feed yourself in other ways.
But see, now when you
can be
said
a-
feed
you can
yourself,
be a
yeah, that was the
janitor.
thing. Right, right.
But you think maybe those people think they're better than that. And in reality, we see what happens when that's the case. I mean, we
I
have
think-
empirical evidence to show us.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's the thing. Like we see, like and whether it's political, whether it's in business, we've seen it on Wall Street. We all remember the housing crisis. Like people do some terrible things for a lot of money, but I've always wondered when do you get to that point? And I think a lot of these people, like I'll use maybe Sarah Huckabee Sanders, for example, like she didn't, like she didn't need to lie for this president. Like she didn't need to be a press secretary for this president. So like she would have been fine working in the private sector. She's got the last name. Like she's got the pedigree. So what was her motivation
Yeah.
to do that job when there really wasn't a financial incentive to do it?
Well,
I disagree. She could write books. She could write whatever, and
She could have wrote books before and she would have probably been more reputable to write a book before she stepped into this White House. Now that she steps out of
well,
it,
there's a
there's
there's a difference between reputable and also
profile.
like just being more. I don't even know. I don't
Marketable?
Know, I don't know. Yeah, I don't even know.
I
if
think
those
your
are the right
profile
words.
gets
Your
certain
profile
rungs
is bigger,
added
yeah.
to it.
I didn't want to say
Yeah.
popular because I don't think
Right.
that's the proper word,
No,
or
yeah.
even marketable.
Right.
I don't even know if that's the proper word. But I
Right.
think when you say profile, yeah, your profile grows, your front of mind, and people for good or bad.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And in her head or
Well,
others,
and then-
she
and-
may think it's all good.
and then
too.
it's not just dollars. Maybe in capitalism, it's also power.
Yep.
I mean,
For sure.
people's-
The perks, I
the
think we're
BC.
discounting the perks that come with being in super high level government.
I mean, the
offices,
health care you
favors,
get with. Ooh,
the favors,
You're
the
a senator.
access, I don't know.
good.
but my thing is, but to that point, I think a lot of people,
I'm not
once
saying
you get
it's
to that
good.
point, like, no, I understand. Once you get to the White House, you've been used to a certain level of access. Like, you know what I'm saying? So you don't, like, they don't pick people off the street to work inside the White House. Those are already elite individuals who probably come from elite backgrounds where they don't, like, it's not as if, oh, we're going to pick the nice college girl who grew up, like, at state campus and she's going to be our press secretary. Like, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, obviously the Huckabee name. She has a lot of connection, a lot of resources. She's from an elite part of society, so she didn't need access to books, access to power, because she already had it. So I'm trying to understand people's motivation to do certain jobs once they've reached this point in their
Right.
life when they don't need it.
Well, I think that you're devaluing
More
that,
power.
that final step. Yeah, because Pac-Man doesn't stop eating the dots, man. He just keeps going. That's what Pac-Man does, and that's what these people are doing. They're just going to keep gobbling up
But at a
opportunities.
cost. But my thing is, those things are at a cost. Like, so that's my thing. Like, I think Sarah Huckabee could have been, say, she could have still had those views, but say done it on a Fox News, where she still could probably go out in public and not have to worry about people coming up to her while she's at a restaurant. So I'm curious as to, was it still worth it, considering she probably still would have had a book deal. She would have lived a nice life. Her family would have been taken care of. But now, because she's connected to this administration and the lives of this president, is it going to be difficult for her to actually live a normal life because she will always be haunted by her time in this administration?
Depends on
I
where.
think she can.
It depends on where she lives, on if she's haunted. Or
True.
not, I
Very
guess.
true.
I
That's a
also
good
think
point.
she can.
Yeah,
she can
Arkansas.
play-
Yeah, I don't know if she lives in Arkansas, but yeah, that would probably make a ton of sense.
Yeah.
I think she can play 10 different roles too. If she wants to, if she's in front of a pro-Trump or pro-whatever crowd, she can play it up that, she did her duty, she was there. If she goes to, let's say something he finally does it, and people admit that he's a disgrace and he's not a great president and he's kicked out, right? She could also play the thing that says, oh, I got out finally. I did what I had to do and I got out. I think she's in a position too, and I find her to be super annoying, super gross, and I think she's still in a position that I think this benefits her no matter what she does.
Yeah, I don't see her being able to explain it away though. is the
To
thing.
whom?
Yeah.
To people that disagree with her.
Oh, well, I don't think that matters to her.
Yeah.
I think
But, I
there's
mean,
so many
because that's-
opportunities where people will
that's
just
all-
shake their head and say, right this way to her. Don't you?
No.
You think the doors are closed to her on her
On
side
some,
of things?
you're specifically talking on her side.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay,
I was like,
that's-
people can be mad at her all
Okay.
they want. There's the other half that are like, yeah, come on over. We'd love to pay you X to speak at our
Oh
event.
yeah, she'll definitely be able to go on those type of speaker circuits. My thing is though, like I guess when it comes to legacy, when it comes to what is your lasting impression that you're going to ultimately leave on people, and I'm just trying to not necessarily personally get to the root of why people do A, B, and C. I'm trying to understand how people can justify certain actions. Like I said, I understand the
You lie to
financial
yourself.
benefits.
Yeah, there you go.
Right, and that's clearly the case. And I guess my thing is
I've
like
lied to
Sarah
myself
Huckabee
before.
said, like Travis, like
Everybody
well,
does.
Travis, look, Travis Terrell, if you're telling me, Travis, I need you to be a spokesperson for the DNC, I need you to be a spokesperson for President Obama. Travis is broke. Travis is a middle class American with student loan debt. So for me, everything is going to always be looked at from a, not everything, but most things are going to be looked through a financial spectrum. So if a president comes to me and says, Travis, we'll give you 6 figures to defend my record, then that's a no-brainer for me.
Yeah.
I'm curious, like the types
Well,
like Sarah Huckabee are those who
here's
have
what
the
they do.
means, who can say, I don't need to do that in order for me to make my nut. So why am I truly doing this?
But you could probably make more nut doing this in the
Mhm.
way you explain it
True.
away or lie to yourself is, and I'm sure we've seen reports on this from involving a number of maybe current staff and former staff members for the president. But that it's in some cases they say, well, he's so out of control. I'm doing my duty as an American to somehow keep some sanity there and help out in that way. I'm actually being patriotic in this way, in terms of how
Right.
even if I'm lying, and she's admitted like in her particular case, she's admitted she's lied.
Right.
Even if I'm lying and doing things like this, I'm doing it to kind of keep things. Try to help with this chaos that there
right.
is.
You have no idea
that's
what's
how
going on
you.
behind the scenes.
That's how you lie to yourself if you're in that situation, and then you take the paycheck and then you move on. That's what happens.
Right.
No, makes sense. Travis, we love your reactions. We actually have some face-off to do. If you could bring it in with your best Nicolas Cage, let's do some face-off.
Face. Oh.
Oh, my.
That's a nice
Where
quote,
is he?
Ryan.
What's going on?
There you go. Here's a
That's
little
nice.
face off.
That's
So
right.
how does face-off work, Gardner?
Basically, it's just some screenshots that I'm able to grab of the show throughout the previous week, and we just kind of detail a little bit of what was going on the show, because sometimes some stuff happens.
Mm.
This is a Frozen one.
Okay.
Tommy's disinterested, it seems, playing Pokemon.
Yeah, that happens a lot. Tommy.
Is Tommy pregnant?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, flex off.
Flex off. Okay.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Gardner
What is
is,
Tommy? What is he
This
working
one looks
with?
like
Oh.
Travis's soul is escaping from his body.
Yeah.
Oh, that
Got
is so
scared.
cool.
Mhm.
What's that be
Travis
drinking?
Smoking?
Yeah, you're drinking
Drinking.
prophecy, maybe? Oh, look at
There's
that.
something emitting.
Oh,
from
it's
your-
cold in the house.
Oh, yeah,
It's
yeah.
cold in my house.
I don't know what happened there.
Okay, looks like you're about to receive a. Never mind. Oh,
Apparently, it
he's-
was really funny.
yeah. I probably said something hilarious there.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
there was
and
Sam getting
you
ready
missed
to
out.
slap Tommy.
Oh.
And this was after the show, and I snapped a picture, and they're just kind of staring awkwardly, both of them.
Okay, great.
Wait. In that picture, it looks like Tommy's taking a picture of Chris's ass.
You know, I've been getting trimmed, Trev.
It actually, with
Don't
them,
knock it till you try it.
with them wearing a similar shirts there, it looks like Tommy's like growing out of Chris's shoulder
Mm.
a little bit too.
That's the way he meant it to be.
Oh,
Now you get it.
there
Those
you
are
go.
good.
That's
That
been
was
face
face-off.
off. Gardner, great grabs, sir.
Yeah. We'll see what happens this week, and
Yeah.
let you know next week.
Face off is one of the more important parts of the
And
show, and
you
I
mentioned,
appreciate your work on it.
Face Off and Travis's opening there when he did the. We mentioned Nicolas Cage.
Face off.
Big night for me last night.
Mhm.
I don't know if you are aware. There's a thing called Historians at the Movies that goes along. It happens on Twitter,
Nope.
where historians
No,
pick out
I've
a
never heard
movie.
of this.
So if you can find your Twitter historians, and they start a movie at the same time, and they kind of just tweet about the movie.
Oh, okay. That's kind of cool. I like that idea.
And it was their 1-year anniversary of starting Historians at the Movies last night. So they went back
How'd
to
it
the movie
go?
that launched it all. And they did National Treasure.
Oh, dear God.
So I was at home watching National Treasure and following along on Twitter with some historians as they tweeted about the movie. It was fun.
Anything
was
that,
fun.
Anything upset you? Did they get?
No.
Did they take it too far?
No, they normally just have fun with it.
Okay.
So that was there was some crossover potential they thought with the Fast and the Furious and National Treasure, and one historian pitched the idea of the Fast and the Federalist. So maybe that's something that happens.
I
So-
think, yeah, I don't. I love how the Fast and Furious movies have just become nothing about cars, nothing about racing. It's just I think there was a comedian, and I'm sure there are several comedians who've made similar jokes, but there was a comedian just like, at what point did everyone become massive gun experts and espionage analysts? Like when did everyone find time in their cars and their spoilers and they're putting 20-inch rims on everything? When did everyone find time to become like spies? Like, how did that happen?
Yeah,
How did
like,
the United States? Where are
didn't
we
they
with our intelligence agencies where they decide to tap some some car Hoosier from Southern California
right.
to help save the world?
Like, wasn't this
Like,
the
how
thing?
did
Like,
we
these were
arrive
just dudes
here?
who would just like install NOS probably improperly into their Honda
Exactly.
Civic
We
in
there's a
2000.
guy who owned a car shop in freaking El Segundo who now apparently is a major spy for the United States intelligence agency.
Right.
Why?
It's like,
He
bro,
has
you were
done nothing. He has no military background. He's never ran a business. He's never been a manager of a coffee shop. But now he's our biggest intelligence asset.
Yeah.
What?
What's
I'm
your
not even-
best quality? I can put in an automatic car starter like you wouldn't believe.
what? I'm not even sure that you're equipped to fight. Like, what?
But exactly. Like, what classes have you taken? What UFC gym are you in? Why is Vin Diesel the one we're calling on? If you are a spy at the CIA, you have to be pissed that like, Toretto is getting called to all the cool assignments.
Oh.
Would they? Would the
Imagine,
Fast
like,
and the
you'd be
Furious?
pissed. Think about all the years you studied, like going to
Yeah.
Harvard and
Right. Yeah.
years of training at the CIA, and then they pick some freaking grease monkey from Southern California to take on the cool, sweet mission to save the world.
I think it finally ends in St. Louis, where he comes and he tries to do his like tough guy act with like a true hardened criminal from South City or in the city of St. Louis. He's like, and the guy just shoots him. It's just done. It's like, you don't speak to me like that. Boom. It's like that's not how this works. It's
a different setting.
He's mid speech, and they're like, we're gonna steal your car. Like this isn't like this. You're not a thing.
But that's the thing. Like, there has to be somebody at the Pentagon. Like, shit, we're not gonna be able to. Oh man, hey, how about the professional wrestler and the grease monkey? What are they up to? Maybe they can stop this. Maybe they can stop this nuclear warhead heading towards DC.
Listen,
like that's the
budget cuts have been a bitch.
how are
this
they?
year.
How are they going to stop them? They got cars. They got this brand new Camry.
Right.
They
Yeah.
put a really cool spoiler on it, and it shoots out a missile.
Wait, a Camry?
What?
Well,
Is this our
Camry.
plan?
that's what they're
Every-
doing.
Oh no! Oh,
Wait,
no.
he's gonna fly a Camaro through a skyscraper? Anyone?
Black,
Anyone?
black
Trained
sheep,
in O'Fallon, Missouri. Then, if that's the case,
Black Sheep.
my brother had a Camaro. And
Did he really?
Yeah.
Black Sheep says
it was required in O'Fallon. You either had to have a Camaro or a pickup truck within the family.
makes sense. Yeah, I totally get that part.
Not
and I
anymore so
respect
much,
it.
but when definitely when we first moved there,
Yeah.
that was a requirement.
The Black Sheep says it ends in St. Louis when he drifts into a sea of potholes trying to race.
Compton Bridge gets him. Oh, we
We've been to Rio de Janeiro, Tokyo, all over the world.
It wasn't, yeah.
And a formerly great Midwest city ruins the whole thing.
Yeah, in Southern California, coming from there, it wasn't Compton that got them. It was the Compton Bridge
Yes,
that got them.
exactly.
Little did they know.
But that's even the funnier part about people who say, we collect our guns just in case we got to rise up against our government. And I'm like, we have a budget where we spend billions on putting missiles in Camrys. So I think we're outgunned no matter what. We are putting automatic rifles on Camaros. We're not winning this war. The government has won. They are winning 200-2. It's ball game. It's like Alabama versus East Western Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
This is how it plays out. But I would just be more pissed off if I was like the guy that's been working in the office for 25 years and I finally getting on the street and I can't take it because Dominic Toretto and Dwayne The Rock Johnson are going to, I don't know, take a helicopter and fly through a skyscraper.
Not even learned how to do a helicopter.
Maybe the
You
next
just can't do that. Oh, what the hell? Oh, it's like driving a Camry. Is it?
maybe the next setting should be. Maybe it should be at Area 51, where all these allegedly all these people are trying to organize to get 400,000 people to to storm the government classified research area. Travis, I don't know how much you've followed any of this, but here I will give this on Netflix right now. There's a documentary talking about Bob Lazar, a former engineer researcher who was a whistleblower a long time ago in the 80s, and he was discredited, made to look crazy, but now he's actually spoke up, and he doesn't look so crazy. He looks very real, legitimate. But Bob Lazar speaking to this Area 51 issue, Gardner.
He's speaking.
I have a quote.
Okay, let's hear that.
What did he say? I want to
This
hear
is from
this.
Bob Lazar, and this is literally like supposedly like 400,000 people are into this. Everybody's kind of joking about it, but it feels real, and the last person to storm Area 51 was just shot on site. I have to comment on this storm Area 51 thing. Again, this is from Bob Lazar. I do understand it was started as a joke by someone, but there are a number of people, again, Bob Lazar worked in these facilities. There are a number of people who are actually planning on showing up to Area 51. This is a misguided idea. Area 51 is a classified research base. There are no aliens or alien technology located there. The only place there was ever any alien technology was at Site S4, south of Area 51 proper. That was 30 years ago. S4 may have moved decades ago, or it's possible it's no longer being used for the project. I do not support this movement. The last time someone tried to get into Area 51, he was shot. This is not a good way to go about trying to get more information. What is good is the interest in the subject, the science, and the technology. That is what would immediately change the world we live in.
And you know who wrote that? E.T. That's bullshit.
That's
absolute bullshit.
You think they took over Bob Lazar's Instagram account?
Look, here's what I think actually would happen. I believe the aliens have obviously infiltrated Twitter, and they're creating this movement so they can get the dumbest humans to sign up to raid Area 51 just so they can then test the security measures of Area 51. So naturally, all those people are going to be killed. But that means for the aliens, they can do recon on the security measures at Area 51, setting up for a future invasion down the road.
I had Brendan Schaefer, friend of the show, text me over the weekend asking, are you storming Area 51 with everyone in September? And I said, no, I'm using it as a decoy to raid Area 54, the real spot where the truth is hiding.
Right.
So, I thought about it.
So
I did have a friend.
Are we watching chess plan out? Or is this a chess match that we think everybody's just being dumb?
It's always a chess match. I did have a friend say he was who's into some of the stuff, that he was a little disappointed in the Bob Lazar thing. Is it a documentary on Bob Lazar?
Way less insightful than here we go, brace yourselves, than his 3-hour conversation on Rogan. It touches on a bunch of stuff, but he goes way more in depth on and again, that's how it works.
I think his disappointment came from the ending where they were upfront about stuff that he has not been able to credibly provide to people, which is documentation of some of his academics and some other things like that. So
you know what the story was that, right? That got erased. It's been confirmed. He was at the colleges he was at. They went into that quite a bit.
Well, I mean, this was in the documentary.
Well, then how would he work? How would he have worked there?
Chris has bought into it because of Rogan.
Here we go.
Here's the thing.
It's super scary what they've deleted.
You have to be able to it's fair to vet. It's fair to vet because you need to be able to. You can't have people, when things do finally happen, point to this and this and this and this and this to try and take away your credibility because of one instance. So you have to vet. And so there are issues with what he says.
That reporter even said it. That was doing the report on him. He was like, "This is really strange."
Right, but there are other things with him too. That's not one thing. This is 3 or 4 things.
I'm no Church of Lazar attendee.
Right. So those things need to be pointed out at least, so that people are aware and can make their own decisions. Is what I would say.
Sure.
And you can go wherever you want with it.
Mm-hmm.
But you need to provide people with at least some information in that regard to say, hey, look, if you're questioning, it's fair. We need to be skeptics because that's how you get to the truth. You have to.
Right.
That's how scientific method works. Here's you present your evidence,
Yep.
and it's challenged by peers
Yep.
over and over and over and over. And if it fails once, then it's not accepted. That's how That's how it works. That's how it has to work. That's how you get to what the actual truth is.
For sure.
And it's tough to get to sometimes.
Especially when the government's rallying against you.
Now I will look into that. That you pointed that out.
Oh
though.
my gosh, it's insane. Too.
Now,
and then
I-
after
and
he
like,
did
'cause
a thing,
I'm not gonna
his
take
lab
that-
got raided. Like,
Yeah, but I don't take just it being erased by the government and that at face value. I don't.
just check into it a
But
little.
I
more.
will look into it.
It's interesting because again,
Yes.
I do not play well with people like that typically. I'm just like,
And
shut
I
up.
get that.
Yeah.
But he was on Rogan, so there's a bias
Well,
automatically.
of
with
course,
it.
right? You tie it to it because anything I say, anything I say,
you
anything
you
I
walked
say.
into it.
anything I say.
You did walk into it.
it's not even my
man.
fault.
You walked right into it.
Um,
It's not Chris's fault.
Our friends at Gateway Powder Coating support the show, so that means you support them. You see the beautiful green lights behind me, Travis? They could make your patio furniture. Maybe you want some green patio furniture. I don't know. Maybe you want to get wild, but they're fast, durable, and affordable. That's Gateway Powder Coating. Mark and the gang support us for years now, so you support them. GatewayPowderCoat.com online to see their capabilities. Wonderful folks, great local St. Louis business supporting us here on We Are Live. So you're going to look into that a little more, Gardner. You're
Yeah,
gonna do
I'll
a little
take a
more
look.
research.
Of
Yeah,
course.
I would say so because it's weird to me
I like to be
that you're not full on with this guy. It's I shouldn't say full on. There's always holes to be poked, but it seems it's interesting.
I'm
It's
intrigued.
interesting. Yeah.
And have been, but I think you need to be honest with people. You have to also be honest about the limitations and how some of the information is delivered.
For sure. Travis,
Do you
Gardner.
think? Do we think we're at the point though? Do we think we're at the point where everything's on the table as far as the truth coming forward? So I just feel like we talk about
gonna
Perfect
have a
Storm. We
panic
talked
attack.
about the guy in the funeral. We talk about the guy with the funeral, right? So a lot of things had to happen all at once in order for that to happen. Chris pointed out he had to have been obviously out of town. He had to be an individual that was somewhere rural, like some place where he didn't have technology or a cell phone, and he wasn't a person that checked Facebook. Like a lot of things had to come together in order for the truth to ultimately come forward. And I wonder with something like this Area 51 thing, considering who's currently in the White House, considering how we've seen some crazy things happen and be exposed on social media and through Facebook and Twitter and Reddit, are we getting to the point where either in a tantrum, Trump's going to tell us, or he's going to not be paying attention to his email being open one day while he's doing a press conference? Like, are we looking at a situation where we're closer than ever to discovering that the United States government has information about life beyond this planet?
Does it help him get reelected?
Shit, that's a
or
good
does it
point.
even have to be real? Can it be a false flag that allows him to say we have to unify within the country because here's what we're up against? And it doesn't even have to be real necessarily. It can be a false flag. Government's done that before, of course.
You know what? See, now you're onto something.
So then it's not the
because
truth, though. Okay, now we're
It's
just...
not the
Yeah,
truth,
man.
but see, now think about it, because you're right now. Because now we're in that ballpark. So now we're in the
But
frame of mind of
Rudy
fake news.
Giuliani told me truth isn't truth. So what is a lie?
But I'm saying I think we are 3 to 6 months away from that being a viable campaign strategy. That Trump either is going to use the information, it's like you either reelect me, or I will leak this information, or as
Yeah.
Gardner just pointed out, I will create this fake war with an alien race and see how people react.
And that's
Because if
why
you're a
Space
candidate,
Force
if
has
you're a
been
Democratic
created.
candidate, yes, because if you're a
There it
Democratic
is.
candidate, you ain't been talking about Space Force.
There it
There's
is.
been only one person in this entire race that has been talking about Space Force, and that's Donald Trump.
Aliens.
So he could ultimately go, Robert Mueller, you can't impeach me. How can I be impeachable? I got aliens. They're outside. I got to
Yeah.
take care of them.
And we knew all along, it's been right in front of us all along, that illegal aliens would decide the 2020 election.
Yeah.
How about that?
I mean, he has the means to pull this off. We're either going to get no answers or we're going to get a bunch of fake answers with a little truth. But I think we're closer than ever than finding out alien life and how long they have existed here on this
and
planet.
I said on Friday that the Catholic Church is preparing itself because they're going to have to find a way to stay relevant when this finally does happen, because it's going to challenge a lot of faith, and it's going to in multiple religions probably they're going to have to deal with this at some point. And I don't know how.
Is that the part of the season where we're at? Are we at like season 7 of Game of Thrones currently in our existence as humans? We're like, look, man, we got about 8 episodes left. Let's just get to the good stuff. Let's get to the aliens. Let's get to the
and they're
monsters.
like, no, but it's like, no, but it's like, here's what's happening. And we talked about it with Game of Thrones. God and all these other people, they got some other projects going on, so they're just trying to rush this one through. Like, this one's almost over. Like, we got some other shit going on.
I'm working on my second Earth right now. I got a 6-year deal with second Earth.
Second Earth. You know, these assholes are flying around in space already. You guys are still. You can't even. Can't figure out what to fucking eat each day.
God's talking to
you guys are eating Tide Pods. I got somewhere else.
You're eating fucking Tide Pods and you're kicking bottle caps off of water. And you know, I got other people that are going from planet to planet. What the fuck happened here?
They're still arguing over if they should season chicken a certain way.
Yeah.
My God. My me. What's happening?
And the raisins and the potato salad. God.
Like, are you kidding me? And boy, did they jump the shark in season 6.
Yeah.
So, black president? Give me a break. No, who has a black president?
Let's reset this and just go the opposite. So yeah, I think it's like they got other projects going on.
7.
Yeah.
We're
other projects.
Season 8 of Game of Thrones. So just going to be a bunch of dramatic disappointment.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're so enlightened now. They're elected a black president. Hey, I got other projects. I need to get this through here real quick. How do we end this? Okay, I got it. Here's how we do it.
What was the
dreaming the whole time.
Up Israel. What was the point of setting up the entire Israel-Palestinian timeline?
Yeah.
How was that necessary to the story?
Yeah.
If you're just going to do away with it.
It never got resolved, did it? Never got resolved.
It never got resolved.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. The tax returns, they never got around to the tax returns. They're going to ever talk about that again. What happened? They introduced the tax returns in season 4 and season 8. They never mentioned it again.
Well, and you know, you could have just ended it, and like you have the guy, the kind of the trendy God, and he's or apostle or whatever, and he's talking to God, and he's like, "Listen, I told you." End it after World War II.
Yeah,
that was the best we could have ever done.
Judas was kind of an iconoclast, you know.
Right.
Peter, in a way, I mean, he did deny him a number of times.
Yeah, there's all this stuff. They said they were going to have flying cars by the year 2000.
Yeah.
These fools. Why?
Yeah.
Oh, that's too
They
bad.
let OJ out of jail. What kind of show is this? They let OJ out.
Yeah.
That was the best part of the story. That he
I
was in
gave them
jail.
nuclear
Now he's
power,
out.
and other people, not here on Earth, but other creations of mine, used it to fly throughout the universe. They used it to blow each other up.
I will say this though, it was right about fireworks. They did get right. They did get fireworks.
Turns out the closest thing, the only interpretation they appreciated was Matthew McConaughey screaming Murph in Interstellar. Like, you know that McConaughey.
They were
guy
pretty
had
close in Interstellar. They was on to something. They almost had it. They should have followed through.
Yeah, and then the apologist. If you'll just give them 2 more seasons, we think they're going to be able to create a new planet. There it is. I think we've figured it all out.
There's where we are.
That is it for the content side of things. Do we end on that? Do we just cut it? I think it's been a great show. I say we say thanks to the sponsors and hit it, unless you want to do a quick round of the old school fair or foul, Trav. Up to you.
It's your call, kids.
We'll just
I'm
wrap
just
now.
here to be a fly on the wall as I head towards greatness.
Well, we're
Good luck.
we're rooting for you. I hope it takes you long and far, and I hope I'm the only white guy that you hire onto your staff.
You better
for,
hurry.
the
We're
writer.
almost over. We're almost
We
canceled,
are so
Travis.
close to being canceled.
Like Earth.
Son of a bitch. For Travis in New York, for Gardner here back at the studio at Midcoast Media, one more shout out to all of our great sponsors like Pet One St. Louis West, Buzz's Hawaiian Grill, other wonderful folks like Hillside Animal Hospital that we talked about earlier. Huge thanks to all of them. Huge thanks to all of you for tuning in today. If you haven't yet, subscribe and rate us on iTunes. That helps us out a lot. We need to get up to 100 reviews, and we're really close. So keep that moving. Travis, great luck today. We're out and back live tomorrow at 8 a.m. We'll see you then.
Peace.